We'll be looking at the Berlin Conference of 1884. The Berlin Conference was a peaceful meeting held in Berlin, the capital of Germany, on the 15th of November 1884 in order to divide African countries among the European powers and countries. The conference was chaired by the Chancellor of Germany, the then Chancellor of Germany, Otto von Bismarck. So, the Berlin Conference was a peaceful meeting held in Berlin, the capital of Germany, in order to divide the African countries among the European powers or European countries. And the conference was held by the then Chancellor of Germany at that time, Otto von Bismarck. What were the results of the Berlin Conference? The first result of the Berlin Conference is the fact that African countries lost their independence. They could no longer rule themselves. They could no longer, do what they used to do before. Colonial masters now came with colonialism. So African countries lost their independence. The second result of the Berlin Conference is the fact that it led to the exploitation of African resources. The colonial masters exploited African resources, and Africa is a country that is rich in various natural resources: gold, diamonds, foodstuffs, cocoa, and many other resources. And one of the reasons for the partition of Africa, one of the reasons for the scramble of Africa by European powers was to exploit the resources of Africa. The next thing is the fact that it led to the introduction of new culture in Nigeria. For example, in some countries in Africa, in some countries colonized by the French people, by France, new culture, it led to the introduction of new cultures in those countries. It also led to the introduction of legitimate trade. Legitimate trade means that what they are selling are goods and services and not people. Because before the Berlin Conference, slave trade was in Africa. There was slave trade in Africa. So the Berlin Conference, it led to the end of slave trade in Africa and the introduction of legitimate trade in Africa. With this, we've come to the end of the class. In the next class, we'll be looking at the methods used by colonialists to acquire territories in Nigeria and the methods used by colonialists to administer their rule in Nigeria.